Now, glass is defined as a super-cooled liquid, and it's transparent, like water. And so the idea that the objects end up looking like they came from the sea is no accident. It is almost like water itself. So when you're making and blowing and forming the glass, if you want to push it towards an organic form that as if it came from the sea, it happens just naturally. So you take sand and fire and put it together and you have glass. And it turns into a liquid. Imagine the sand turns into a liquid and then you stick a pipe in there and gather it up like honey and bring it out and blow down there and you blow a shape that over the centuries glass blowers have learned to make it into an incredible array of forms. And I've been lucky enough to come along at the right time, at the right place, to be able to expand many of the forms that were made throughout this 2,000-year history. I think it was about 1977 that I was visiting the Washington State Historical Society and looking at their Indian basket collection. And it dawns on me that, hey, wouldn't it be interesting to try to make these baskets out of glass? A lot of the baskets are old and kind of crumply and they're not always straight and firm. And so I got into my mind that somehow I wanted to make them asymmetrical. And so first I would bang them with a paddle to beat them up a little bit. But I soon learned that if I just used the heat of the furnace and the fire, that I could get the same kind of movement from the fire itself, and it was more beautiful. That was really the breakthrough series for me. Probably the most innovational thing I'd ever done in glass was to begin to form glass with fire, with gravity, with heat, with centrifugal force. I was using just human breath going down into this miraculous material, blowing it up, making it as thin as I could, and getting it so hot that it would almost collapse and begin to move. And so I was pushing the edge of thinness and collapsibility and making new forms. I was making the baskets in the 70s. And at one point, I wanted to make the baskets thinner. They were already quite thin. So I stuffed them into what we call an optical mold, which is a ribbed mold that ends up making the glass sort of like corrugated cardboard in terms of structure. Theoretically, that would allow you to make it thinner because it's stronger. And when I did that, of course, that optical mold or that corrugated, ribbed feeling made it look like a shell. So, you know, as soon as I did it, one thought shell, and then, you know, I liked the idea that it was a shell, and so changed the name of, I didn't really change the name from baskets to Seaforms, it's just that the baskets became the Seaforms. And then of course we extended and pushed it to a more aquatic feeling. You know, there's no end to that too. I mean, I could literally make Seaforms probably for the rest of my life, and that's a series that I have continued to make because you can always take that in a different way, in a different direction.
thin bottom. Watch your feet. Take it, buddy. Another rough start.
Why do people want to collect glass? Why do they love glass? For the same reason, I suppose, that that many of us want to work with it. It is this magical material that's made with human breath, that has light goes through it, that has incredible color, and it breaks. And I think the fact that it breaks is one of the reasons that people want to own it. I like to work very simply and organically and fluidly, and you wouldn't think that the way I work that I would want to use molds, but I do like to use molds because I don't make them. I mean, after I go into the mold, then I heat it up and I push it and stretch it and expand it and spin it and use centrifugal force and heat and fire and gravity. So the mold, the symmetry of the mold, not all the molds are symmetrical, but most of them are, is lost.
A little warmer?
also put sea forms underwater. I hate to be that literal, but I was building a pool and a lap pool in the studio, and so I couldn't help but build a certain part of the pool where the sea forms are underwater, and you swim over the sea forms. It's an interesting sort of sensation to be looking at what appears to be sort of, something underwater like a shell, but yet it's man-made. And that's one of the things that I love to juxtapose the man-made and the natural to sort of wonder, make people wonder, are they man-made or did they come from nature? And that's a very important part of my work.